In a remote village surrounded by mountains, there was a massive valley, so deep that no one could see the bottom. Villagers believed that the valley was cursed. Legend said, whoever tries to cross it never returns. Because of this valley, the villagers lived small lives. They farmed on their side, never exploring what lay beyond. But on the other side, they often saw sunlight reflecting off something that glittered like diamonds. Still, no one dared to go. Among them lived a young man named Arun, clever, curious, and fearless. He always said, "If no one ever tried, how will we know what's possible?" The others laughed. "Dreams don't feed you, Arun," they said. "Don't waste your life on madness." But Arun couldn't stop thinking about that sparkling light beyond the valley. He spent days studying the winds, the rocks, the trees, anything that could help him. "I have a plan to cross the valley." The crowd burst into laughter. You'll fall before you take 10 steps. Still, Arun built a wooden bridge using bamboo and vines. He worked for days, cutting, tying, testing. When he finally stepped on it, the villagers stood watching. At first it held. Then, halfway across, snap! The rope broke. Arun barely held onto a rock and climbed back up, injured and humiliated. The village laughed louder this time. "See? We told you! You can't fight destiny!" And that night, Arun sat alone by the valley. Tears rolled down his face. But in those tears, something stronger was born: determination. He said to himself, "If one way fails, I'll find another. Failing once doesn't make me wrong. It makes me wiser." He started again. This time, he used thicker ropes from mountain vines and built a hanging bridge supported by both sides of the cliffs. He tested every knot, every plank. Days later, before sunrise, he walked onto the bridge again. His heart pounded, the wind howled, but he didn't stop. Step by step, he moved forward. The bridge swayed violently, but he reached the other side. The villagers watched in disbelief. Arun disappeared behind the rocks, and hours later, he returned carrying a handful of shining diamonds. The crowd went silent. The same people who mocked him now stood with tears in their eyes. "You did the impossible," they whispered. Arun smiled and said softly, "No, I just believed it was possible." From that day, the valley was no longer called the Valley of Death. It became known as the Bridge of Belief. Moral of the story: impossible is only impossible until courage and belief turn it into reality.